Good afternoon, everybody. This is Subbu. I'm part of Inme Bangalore team, and I would be taking you through the entire orientation in terms of program details and the travel logistics and communication during the program, and explaining to you in terms of kit list, what to carry and what not to. And if you have any questions, I would request you to put it out in the chat section. Once I'm done with the orientation, I can go through the questions and then answer one by one. And okay. So just to give you a brief about the Inme as the programs, we are kind of into experiential learning programs where we do week-long duration programs starting from 9 years all the way till 17. And this is one of the programs that we have been running for the last 15 odd years in the camp Coorg. And this specific program, the age group is going to be from 11 to 13. It's a 7-day program where children would be staying in outdoors for that particular 7 days, and they would be doing different set of activities. This kind of comes as one of our entry-level program for children at around 11 to 13 as an age group. And in this particular program, I know that there are a couple of kids who are around 10 months and very close to the level, but it'll be a great program for them as well. In terms of activities, they would be doing mix of outdoor adventure-based activities, and apart from that, there are some camp-based activities as well. When I'm talking about camp, these are a mix of strategic activities, or it could be fun activities like rifle shooting or an archeries, or it could be like a team building activities. So they keep doing like a mix of a lot of activities together, and they learn a lot of things in terms of how to be independent and to kind of do an activities where they're generally not used to doing it on a daily basis. So they kind of break their fears and overcome their boundaries and learn a lot of things on the program. But one of the most important thing is to have a lot of fun on camp. That happens by default. And in terms of activities, I'll just share my screen and take you through the entire program orientation. And if you have any questions, we can take it a little later. Okay. So this is a camp that children would be going on 25th of March till 31st. It's the 7-day program. And here they would be doing different set of activities. When it comes to activities, there are these two combinations that you would have signed up for the children. So there's one combination called as rock climbing and backpacking, and there is second combination called as ropes course and outdoor survival. So these are two options that we generally provide for children. And when you have signed up your children for the program, you would have selected one of these two. Okay. And I will give a little bit of brief about these activities also. In terms of first combination, which is rock climbing and backpacking, one second. Right. So in the rock climbing and backpacking as a combination, each of these activities would generally takes place for like 3 sessions. Okay. So out of the 7 days, they would do 3 days of rock climbing and 3 days of backpacking. So in a rock climbing as an activity, what happens is that out of the 3 days, the first day it's going to be about bouldering as an activity, where children would climb rocks that are around 12 feet or 15 feet at max, which are like a small boulders. Okay. And so in this particular first day of session, they would be doing these bouldering as an activity where they understand about a lot of technicalities that is involved in rock climbing. So in the rock climbing, children would be learning about different kind of techniques in terms of pinch holds, and there are pressure holds, and there are different ways that they can map a route in the rock arts. So all of these are done at a very basic level. And one of the other things that children also will learn is how to climb these rocks without using their elbows and knees. And during this particular session, they might get a little bit of scratches here and there, but it's completely fine. That's the part of the learning that they will have. And apart from that, on the second and the third day is when they will be conquering a higher rock faces. So there is a rock face that is around like a 30 or a 40 feet that they would conquer on a day two. And this is when they climb using ropes and harnesses and everything. On the day one, they don't have to because they're an arm's length to an instructor. Just give me 1 second. Parents, you have been sending me this request for recording it. It's already been recorded. We will share this recording after the orientation. And coming into the day 3 of the rock climbing, that's when they'll learn about rappelling, which is basically climbing down the rock. And gradually they're kind of introduced to a different challenge levels. And in terms of backpacking as an activity and outdoor survival, these two are trek-based modules, but the approach is very different. Whereas for a backpacking, you kind of plan everything in advance and then execute that. Whereas in outdoor survival, you learn about a lot of survival skills on the go. Okay. So one of the major differences I would put it as for the backpacking, they'll learn how to pitch a tent, how to pack a bag for the expedition, and they'll get to know how to read a map. These are some of the things that children would do. And they will also go to a night out on the second day, where, in the sense, from the campus, they'll have to trek to a different place, pitch their own tents, cook their own food, sleep in the wilderness, and then the next day they come back to the camp. But for this to execute, they'll have to plan it before, like how many tents do they need to carry and what kind of food they want to prepare. So all of this, children would be involved in the planning also. Right? And they learn about all of these at a very basic level, and then they'll do the night out and execute it well, and then they come back. But whereas in outdoor survival, they don't plan a lot of things in advance. So here, in case if they don't have a tent with them, how do they still survive in the wilderness? So they'll have to build a shelter using a tarp and a rope. And if that is also not available, if you have a poncho, how can you use that as a shelter or to collect water? So these are the some of the things that they would be learning. And they also do a night out in the 3 days course. But the approach is going to be different. As I said, one would be pitching tents, which is backpacking, and for an outdoor survival, they will make shelters. And they may not have like a proper cooking utensils like backpacking kits. So they'll have to understand on what is available with them and how do you survive. Like if you have a veggies with you, you can just probably wrap it in an aluminum foil, throw it in the fire. Or if there are a couple of camps where kids got pretty interesting, they cooked food on a rock. So they kind of sorted some veggies and learned how to survive in the wilderness. Like that's also a brilliant one. So it kind of depends on the team dynamics. And when it comes to a ropes course as an activity, there are like multiple set of elements that children would be doing. It's kind of like a team building activity where a couple of children get onto one of the elements. All these elements are built using ropes. More often, we kind of keep hearing about zip lining as an activity, right? That's one of a ropes course element. But in this particular program, they don't do zip lining, but they do multiple other ropes activities. So the first day, it's more like a low ropes course where children would try these activities, which are like 3 feet or 5 feet above the ground. And then they practice it on like a 4 to 5 different elements. They understand on coordination and spotting techniques and all of these. And from the second day is when they would start doing this higher ropes courses, which are generally around 20 or 25 feet. And these are something like a friendship ladder, or it could be a commando net like these. And the third day would be a target jump, where this is a great activity for children. And that's one of a highlight of the program. So I don't want to spoil too much in terms of giving the details. Want to keep it a little bit of surprise for the kids also. But this is generally a brief on a program. So as I said, if they choose rock climbing and backpacking, they do 3 days of rock climbing and 3 days of backpacking. If they're doing ropes course and outdoor survival, they do 3 days of ropes course and 3 days of outdoor survival. And currently, as I said, we have got like 41 children who have signed up on the program. There's 22 girls and 19 boys. And even in these activities also, there are 25 kids who have signed up for rock climbing and backpacking. And there is around 16 odd kids who have registered for the second part. And this is the activities that children would be doing in the camp. So the ropes course is something that is there and very close to the camp. Whereas for the rest of these activities, children would be trekking to a different place. If it is backpacking or a outdoor survival, they go for a longer hikes. Or if it is rock climbing, they go to a smaller hike and they perform these activities in a rock face and then they come back. But generally speaking, this is a campus that we have got in Coorg, where it's in the middle of a coffee estate. It's a 80 to 100 acre property. And that's where children would be staying in terms of accommodation, where there are dormitory kind of an accommodations for them. And there have got attached washrooms, and that's where children would be staying every day on the campus. But they keep going out, stepping out of the campus, performing these activities, and then coming back to the camp. So this is how generally the terrain in the coffee estate looks like, and these are the ropes that we use for activities. So for rock climbing or a ropes course, these are some of the ropes, and children also will learn about these kind of a ropes, like what are the different kinds of ropes and where are they used, and there are different kind of knots that they will also learn about during the course of program. And this is a general day on a program for a kids would look like. We give a wake up call for the children at around 6:30 in the morning. That's when they'll have their hot chocolate, milk, bonvita, whatever they wish to have, along with some biscuits. And 7 o'clock is what we start with the warm-up session. We call it as elastic limbs or a chota hazri, which is a very fun thing that we do on camp at 7 in the morning. So all the instructors and the kids, everybody come together and then do like warm-ups, and there are do stretches, and we kind of play smaller games, get just to get them ready for the day. And 8 o'clock would be a breakfast for children. That's when they'll have breakfast, and every day there would be like a different items and a proper nutritious meal. And at around 8:45, 9 o'clock is what children are expected to step out of the campus. They will be ready with their backpacks and the water bottles and things that is required for the program for that particular activity. And then they would step out of the campus. And they're generally back to the camp again at around like 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon for lunch. And there's a break time for children from 1 to 3 o'clock. That's when they'll have lunch, take bath, and relax for some time. At the same time, we also wanted to children to take care of their belongings in their dormitories, keep their clothes and rucksacks and everything folded and properly organized. And there are some point systems and things like that that we kind of doing it during the course of the program. So that becomes like a habit for kids to do it on a daily basis. And starting from like again 2:30, 3 o'clock is when we start our camp-based activities. We also call them as school time activities. These are a mix of fun activities or a learning initiatives where these are strategic games. The entire team has to come together and then solve these particular tasks. And then we also sit together once these activities are done. We're in a smaller activity groups, and then we discuss about how is an activity for them, and if there is any challenges that they have faced and how they overcome these challenges and what happened in that team building activity, some learnings around it. So we kind of share our experiences on what's happening on that particular day. And 6 to 8 is a very fun time on camp. That's when we'll have a lot of minute-to-minute games or a playtime, or it could be talent shows that we're doing till 8 o'clock. And in the course of this entire day, there are like 7 meals that we generally arrange for children. As I said, first meal it is around like 6:30 in the morning. 8 o'clock is a breakfast. And in between the activity time, they'll have a snack also. And lunch is at 1 o'clock. 5 p.m. there's milk, tea, and snacks that they would have. 7 o'clock is a soup, and 8 o'clock is a dinner. So they're kind of well fed for every 2, 3 hours on a program. We keep reminding them about being hydration. So we keep a check on that also. There are multiple water stations, and there's also squash that is available for children to have at any point of time. And post dinner 9:30 is a general lights off on a camp. We have already gone through this in terms of an activities, and I'll just run you through the safety protocols, which is, so this is a camp that we have been running from past 15 odd years, and we have on an average every year we'll have around like 300, 350 children who attend the camp program during the summers. And for the rest of the year also, they're quite engaged. Like there are a lot of schools also that we work with. Currently, there's also in the last 1 month we had like 2, 3 school programs. There's already another batch on the program. So it's throughout the year we have the campus up and running. And generally on any of our programs, we have a great ratio of instructor to children, which is 1:6, meaning for every 6 children, there's an instructor on the campus, but it doesn't mean that we make a group of 6 and one instructor would take care of them. As I mentioned, the entire group of children that are there on the camp, they're kind of divided according to an activity group, right? So if there are around 15 children in an activity group, there would be a minimum of 3 instructors, which is male and female instructors. If it is around 20 children, there would be a minimum of 4 instructors like that. So we kind of maintain that 6:1 ratio. And we have a female instructor in every group. How many number of groups that we have on the campus? There will be at least one female instructor in every group. And apart from that, we have a camp chief who is the head of the program. And the instructors that we have are also like well trained in terms of the technical aspects of it from renowned institutions like NIM or HMI. These are mountaineering institutes. And once they get certified from there, they also have to attend Inme in-house instructor training programs where they learn about safeties and emotional level. Example, like talking to the kids of different age groups and how do you handle their concerns, and a lot of other things that they will be going through as a training session. And we have a doctor also on the camp, 24/7 available for children. And right from a basic medication to a nebulizer setup, we are equipped on the campus. And in case if there is a necessity that we have to visit one of the hospitals close by, then we have an emergency vehicle also on the campus, 24/7 available. And the closest hospitals are generally around like a 35 to 45 minute drive time. And transport, currently we do have departures for this program from two different places. One is from Bangalore. There are kids who are from Bangalore region would be starting from here, and there are also some outstation children from who are coming from different other cities, but the parents are dropping them. So we are going to do one travel from Bangalore, which is in an AC comfortable buses. And similarly, for the children who are flying into Mysore as an option, so for them, again, we have got a different vehicle that is arranged. So both of these are two different travels. They don't uh, stop. I mean, they don't coordinate with each other. They are done at a very different timings of the day. Okay, but both of them would have like an AC comfortable pushback recliner seat buses. And the last 2 kilometers is what children would be doing in jeeps kind of a vehicles. Because the last 2 kilometers is a pure off-road, you need a 4x4. So the bigger buses cannot travel in these roads. So they would be shifted very close to the campus from these bigger buses to a smaller jeeps, and that's around like a 2 kilometers, but takes around a good 20 minutes for us to reach the campus. And the kind of equipment that we use on the program or an international graded equipment, and we don't reuse, sorry, we don't repair any kind of these equipments. We kind of discard it and get a new set of it. And they are properly well maintained, logged, and checked before it reaches to an activity session for the children. So every 2, 3 months, we have this inspection going on the camps in terms of all the materials that we have. And instructors, when they're just taking these materials to an activity, they again go through another check. So there are multiple places that we keep a check on these things. Medical, as we discussed, we have a doctor on the campus 24/7 with the children. And accommodation, children would be staying in a dormitory kind of an accommodation. So in the core camp, there are like a multiple blocks. So there are like a 3 to 4 different blocks in the campus. Each of them are like probably 50 feet or 100 feet at max distance from each other. And there are 3 children room accommodations. There are 5, and there are bigger rooms of 10 also. Based on the final numbers of boys and girls, we kind of allocate that particular block to a particular gender of children, and the same gender of instructors also would be staying in the same block. They will not be along with the children in the same room. They would be in their neighboring rooms, but every block will be having an instructor with them. And all these rooms have got an attached washrooms to it with the Western facilities. But again, this is not like a resort kind of an accommodation. The basic idea of our programs is to help children to come out of their comfort zones where they stay in a rugged kind of a places, roughen out a little bit, right? But again, these are well-maintained ones, comfortable ones. In the dormitories, there would be a 2 inch or a 3 inch thickness mattress, and on top of that, children use a sleeping bag. So it'll be quite comfortable for them. And apart from that, the washrooms are cleaned twice a day by the staff. And we understand again, it's kids sometimes, even though we tell them not to wear the muddy shoes or sandals inside the washroom, sometimes they have to rush and they get a little dirty. So we give a brief to the children on the first day, also saying that you'll have to, they're all well maintained, right? So if you are using it, make sure that it's also clean for the person who is going to come and use after you, right? And if we see that it's being a little dirty or something, they can just pour in a water. But if it is something that they need help with, they can just reach out to an instructor, and we would send somebody to get the washroom clean. But all of this is something that they have to come and inform an instructor. And every dormitory room also will have like a tent in charge or a dormitory in charge. And this is generally an instructor. And we give all of these briefing to the children when they reach the campus. So most of the time they do approach us, but in case if they have any issues regarding rooms or anything that they have to do with, they can just reach out an instructor and we'll be able to help them out. And meals, as I said, we have got like 7 meals arranged for children. And in the campus, we do not recommend children carrying any kind of a tuck for the camp. We want them to have a proper nutritious meal on the campus. Meals on the campus is primarily vegetarian, and they also have options for veg and non-veg and Jain food options also. So when you have signed up your child for the program, you would have had a food preference, and based on that, we would provide it. And apart from that, in case if there is any food allergies or anything like that, and generally would have mentioned this in the application form medical section. But in case if there is anything that you missed out, I would recommend you to let us know before the program. So every program of ours have got a one single person as an in charge, and he or she may not be staying on the campus 24/7. We are kind of located in one of our offices because we have got multiple programs happening at the same time. So this person, in case if there is any sort of an emergency from your end, if you need to contact us, right? So this is one person that you generally connect with. So Ethan is the coordinator for the core program. All the messages that you're receiving about the orientation and everything is from Ethan's number. So if you want, you can, if there is any medical concern that you need to update us now, so please connect with Ethan, and we generally keep a note of this and then send it to the campus also. And at the campus, the instructor team and the doctor is aware of it, and we don't share any other medical details with the rest of the children. So we keep a track of it, and whatever is required to be done, we take care of it. So, as I said, for the travel, we are doing two different departures. So there's one departure from Bangalore where we are doing it for the children who are starting at around 5 in the morning. That's the reporting time. And we would be doing it somewhere close to the MG Road. We will share the locations with you closer to the date. 25th is the departure. So 23rd or 22nd is when you would get to know. And all these upcoming information of ours would be coming in the WhatsApp channel. So the message that you received about the orientation has also got something that says WhatsApp channel, and there is a link to it. And that is where you will find all the information regarding the programs in terms of departure details, your daily updates and everything. Ethan, can you share that link on the chat also once? Okay, so once you click on this link, it will take you to WhatsApp. On the top right corner, there is an option for you to follow. Once you click on the follow and enable the notifications also. So this is a WhatsApp channel. It's not a WhatsApp group. This is generally, it won't come to us in our regular chat section. It will be under updates. Okay. So please do keep a track of this particular section because all our upcoming details are going to come in this. So we will share a location and the person in charge and the contact number in case if you need for the departures. And apart from this, there is also the kids who are coming in from other cities where they're taking a Inme escorted service. Okay. So there are a bunch of kids who are from Udaipur, Bangalore, and Hyderabad and multiple places, right? So all of them would be traveling to Mysore and Bangalore airports. So we would be sending our escort details also to you, which is 2 days before the departure date. We'll let you know what time to meet at the your respective airport terminals, what time and where. Generally, our preference is that children need to reach these airports at least 2.5 hours before. Ideally, keep it for 2.5 hours because to meet everybody for an escort and then collect all the children and then get inside the airport, we just wanted to do it very hassle-free. So please make sure that you're being on time, and we will connect with you in terms of these numbers and the mobile number of the person and the IDs and all of these things. And for the children who are traveling from Udaipur, where they come into Bangalore and we receive you at a Bangalore airport, and then we are doing a travel to Mysore. And at Mysore, we have a bunch of kids who are from Hyderabad and Bombay. Once we receive them, and we would head to the campus. Generally, the Bangalore children would reach the campus at around 2:30 for lunchtime, whereas the rest of the children are would be traveling to Mysore, and from Mysore they would be reaching the campus a little later, somewhere around 5:30 or 6 in the evening. Okay. But on the first day, it's mostly like an introduction and dormitory allocation, all of that would happen. So children will have a little bit of time to cool down and get introduced to the other kids. And after that, they would be divided into these activity groups and all of it. But they'll have a little bit of time. Okay. And similarly for the return, again, we will have transport back to Bangalore. We would start around 2:30 for lunchtime and post lunch from the campus. And 10 o'clock is when we are expected to reach on 31st back to Bangalore. Whereas for the kids who are doing it from Mysore and the Bangalore flight, we would be doing it a little a little earlier, where we start around 7 o'clock on the 31st itself from the campus. And they would be reaching these airports 2 hours before the departure times. Okay. And these are some of the rules that we kind of inform to the children. So we want to set the right expectations for the parents and the children, mentioning about the program, like what kind of a program. It's not like a resort or a holiday kind of a one. It's a place where kids learn something out of a program, but at the same time have a lot of fun. Okay. So it's not a resort kind of an accommodation. They would be roughened out a little bit. Uh, sorry. Uh, Can everybody please put it on mute? So the accommodation, as I said, it's on the sharing basis, and we kept in mind this is for the younger children, and then we have sorry, one second. Ethan, is that your laptop who's just making these no kids? In case if you can just stop doing this, it'll be easy for the rest of the parents and the other kids to go through this. So would be nice if you don't do this. Okay. Uh, So as I said, these are not like a luxury resorts kind of an accommodation. They'll be roughening out a little bit, and it's more designed to make sure that children learn out of these things. And apart from that, the communication during the program, the kids who are traveling to the Bangalore airport or the Mysore airport, they can carry their mobile phones till the time that they reach these particular airports. And after that, we will ask them to hand over the phones to us. Okay. And once they have handed over the phones to us, we will return it back to them only on the last day. In the meanwhile, they shouldn't have any sort of mobile phones, music players, smartwatches, nothing. In case if we find any of them on the campus, we do random checks on the campus. So if we see anything, we're going to keep it as a donation. Okay. And apart from that, for the parents, we would send out updates on a daily basis. There would be a morning text update and an evening text update. And these are updates that are generally sent to you on a WhatsApp channel, which are a kind of doesn't give a brief about your particular child, but it's about the entire group, like what activities they are doing and what's the general atmosphere on a campus and what did they have for meals. So once you read through the updates, you'll get to know what's happening on the camp. And apart from that, we will also send out 15 to 20 pictures on a daily basis in that WhatsApp channel. But these are not like a pictures of your child doing a rock climbing or a rappelling as an activity. Most of them would be a group pictures. We try to cover as much as possible, but also please consider this, our camps are in the wilderness, right? So there are mobile network available for us to make a phone call and get an update on all of it. But sometimes we do have issues with the network to receive the pictures, like 3G and 4G is required, which sometimes we may not get it at all the times on the camp, right? So we struggle with the network. And in case if we don't upload pictures on any specific day, I would say give us some time. We will, once we receive it, we will upload it in that particular day. If not, we will upload it the very next day. Okay. Or there might be scenarios that where out of all the 40 kids that you are unable to see your child picture on a specific day, there are chances of that happening also. But again, I would say not to worry. If there is any sort of an emergency from our end, right, we are very transparent in terms of communication to the parents. And if there is any sort of an emergency from your end, you can connect with Ethan or one of our team members, whoever you are in conversation with. So we will connect with the camp and come back to you with information. And apart from that, in case if there is any sort of an emergency from a campsite, okay. When I'm saying emergencies, it doesn't include a very light fever like a 99, or it could may not include cough, cold, like these. Okay. So if these are very small things, we have a doctor on the campus, something we can manage it pretty well. Okay. And apart from this, in case if the child is running on a high fever, or if we need to uh, give an antibiotic, or if we need to take them to a medical facility or anything, first thing is we give a call to the parents and check with them based on their inputs. We take the next steps. Okay. So apart during this entire course of program, as long as you don't get a call from us, imagine that things are going absolutely fine on camp. We go with this line called as no news is always a good news. If there is any sort of an information that we require, we will definitely connect with you. Okay, so as I said, no gadgets on the camp, and the fitness and preparation. See, these are outdoor based programs where these are also designed to challenge the children a little bit, right? So we still have another 10 days to go for the program. And I'm sure these days kids are into some or another uh, activities and sports and things, right? So keep continuing that. In case if you're not, then ideally I would recommend just take a walk for like a 30 minutes or 40 minutes every day, or probably just cycle within your community, where try to cover around 4 to 5 kilometers on a daily basis. So these are something that kind of builds a little bit of stamina in you, so that once you're on the campus, you'll be able to enjoy these activities a lot rather than feeling it difficult. Okay. But at the same time, these are all age appropriate programs and activities. And this is one of the most important thing, which is regarding bullying and indiscipline. We have zero tolerance around it. In case if we see that anybody who's troubling others, then we'll have a conversation. There would be consequences of them missing out in an activity sessions also. And if we see that it's happening again and again, then we send them back at their expense. So this is something that has happened a couple of years ago, where again, unfortunately, it's the younger children that we have to send. So we spoke to the parents, and on the third or the fourth day of the camp, we had to send them back. Okay. And use of substance, again, the same thing, and no junk food and tuck. So this is something that we recommend for children. In case if you're carrying any of your tuck, then probably you can just carry that for the travel. But generally during the travel also, we have our buses stocked up with the snacks. And apart from, sorry. Uh, as I said, for the food, we would ask them to not to carry it. If you want to, you can just carry it for your travel. But once you have reached the campus, we will recommend you to deposit with us. And it's a bad idea to open snacks and then have it in the room because you are in the wilderness. And in case if you open any of these food packets and you don't submit and keep it in your room, there'll be ants, and there are bigger things that follows to have ants, and then there are bugs. So your room will be like basically a jungle, right? So it's not really comfortable for the first time when you're doing it in the outdoors, right? So please do not keep any food in the tents or in the dormitories. So deposit with us and we will give it back to you on the last day. And generally, you don't require money to the camp. We take care of all the requirements for the children from Bangalore to Bangalore. But for the kids who are flying into the program, since you're at the airports, if you need to grab a meal, then ideally we would recommend you to carry some cash with you. And parents, when the children are traveling through the flights, please make sure that if they're carrying a mobile phone, again, if they're coming with an escort, there's no necessity for them to carry a mobile phone. But in case if they're carrying one, they can carry a mobile phone, charger, power bank, and their IDs. It has to be an original ID because these days at some of the airport terminals, they're not allowing the copy also. And in case if a child is booked on a student fare, please to send the school ID as well. Okay. So along with all of this, make sure that you're also sending the hard copy of the return ticket. Please do not entirely depend on the e-boarding passes. Please make sure that you're sending these hard copy of the ticket as well. And all of this has to go into that pouch, and you can drop in some cash also in that. And please name this pouch with the child name on it so that we take it from the children, return it
He's
back to
coming also.
parents. I would request you to keep it on mute. Okay. So this is in terms of the program details. And apart from this is another one, which is around the medical. As I said, we have got from basic medication till a nebulizer setup. But in case if there are children who are taking a daily medication, or if they need to, if they're allergic to any certain medications, please to carry what you have generally. And also please get them in that pouch. And we need to a small note from the parents also mentioning what is the dosage and when is it required to take. Okay. And at any point of time, children should not self-medicate themselves. Okay. And we have a doctor, and if they need anything, they just need to speak to an instructor or a doctor. We'll make sure that they're comfortable. So this is the kit list for the program, and all of you would have received it. So this is what we kind of designed just to make sure that everything is there for the children. So there are some things that like we ask about raincoats or sweatshirts like these in a summer season. Please do pack them. They are required because you cannot really predict the weather on the mountains. Okay, so there are even in the peak summers we do get showers in Coorg campus. It's not necessary that it will, but there are maximum number of times that we have seen this happening, and children need to have a right kind of a gear. So they need to have a raincoat and they need to have a warm layers to have a comfortable stay. Okay. So please do not underpack any of this that we have mentioned. And so you can see this, there are basic apparel, 7 to 8 t-shirts, and shorts is something that they wear off the activity time when they're on the campus. And track pants are compulsory for them to use it during activity time. And in the evening, again, it's our recommendations because there might be mosquitoes here and there, right? So just to be comfortable, they can wear a track pants. And 7 to 8 pairs of socks and quick dry towel. Cap is a very important thing for the children to carry for the programs in outdoors. Ideally, my recommendation is that when you're packing this bag for the children, ideally let the children only pack these bags so that they get to know like where are the smaller things that have gone inside the big rucksack, because it also has got like multiple pouches and segments, right? So more often we see that children are not wearing a cap. Ask when we ask them, they don't know where it is, right? So please take probably like a half an hour and then make the kids only pack this rucksack so that one, they get a practice of it, and they also know where are all these things that are going into the bag. And sufficient undergarments and two pairs of night clothes. If you are comfortable with it, please get that. So this is a fleece jacket, the one that you see here, green one, or you can just carry a sweatshirt or a hoodie, whatever you're comfortable with. And poncho or a raincoat, more often you will have a raincoat, so that's also fine. And this is footwear where if you already have a trekking shoe, great. If not, then you can carry any of your existing sport shoes, but just make sure that they have a rubber soled shoes. Okay, they need to have a good amount of grip because you are in the wilderness. And in case if you are planning to buy one, ideally recommendation is that get one 10 days before the program, wear it before the program, or else there are chances of getting a shoe bite if it's a brand new one that you're using on the cap. And having a shoe bite is not really comfortable. And
Normal sports shoes will do. What they use generally, I mean, my daughter plays basketball. She uses Skechers for it. Is it
absolutely fine.
okay?
Yes. So as long as they've got a good grip, they can carry that.
Okay. I don't have to buy those track shoes are not compulsory, right?
No, man. So ideally, we don't want you to buy anything new for the program. Whatever you have, the existing ones, you can carry those, but make sure that they have got a good grip. That's it.
And insulated bottle will be the plastic bottle which has insulation inside.
I'm coming to that. Just give me a minute. I'll just talk about all of that also. Now, this is one of the important ones when it comes to the sandals. Please do not carry slide-ons or flip-flops or Crocs, because you need to have a footwear that has got an ankle strap like this. Okay. Or else we see that children running here and there in the campus and they kind of slip and then fall. We did have injuries. Most of the injuries on the camp have happened because of these small silly things. Okay. So please make sure that you are sending a sandal like this. And this is something you can get it in any of the outdoor stores or even in the sports brands like Adidas, Pumas, or all of these. And other personal items. So in the camp, we don't provide any personal toiletries. So you'll have to carry your own personal toiletries. And please make sure that you are carrying your sunscreen also. It's very important for you to use it when you're in the outdoors. And whatever you're comfortable with in terms of mosquito repellent cream or a spray, you can carry that. And you can carry one glasses. This is just to add more comfort for you. And torch or headlamp is another must thing that you need to carry for the program. And for the kids who are flying into the program, please do make sure that you're putting these torch batteries in your cabin bag, the small bag that you carry inside the flight. Okay. So your bigger bag that you give at the counter, that shouldn't have any of these batteries, your power bank or any of them like that. If you put it in your bigger bag, it won't get processed. Okay. And another laundry bag for them to use for the used clothes. And water bottle, any sort of a water bottle, and which is around like 750 to 1 liter kind of a capacity. And do not carry anything that has got a glass liner to it. But if you have a hard plastic one, good to go. Or if you have a metal one, that's also good to go. It's not really required if you want it to be an insulated one or not. If you have an insulated one, again, it's comfortable for you, or else not to worry too much on that. No. So sleeping bag, this is something that we recommend children carrying one on their own, because this is a very personal thing and then they use it on a daily basis. So in case if you're planning to get one, please do get a sleeping bag that's around like a 10 degrees temperature, which is again available in most of the outdoor outdoor stores. And in case if you want to order it from Inme also, we have our merch. You can just scroll down here and you can access them by clicking on these website links and you can order it. And the good thing about the sleeping bag is we can just deliver it to your camp itself. So you don't have to carry it back from home or anything. Okay. So that is a one compulsory thing that we kind of require for children to have on the camp. In case if they don't get it on the like their own personal one, I would say not to worry. We have a lot of them on the campus. And the ones that we provide for the children, they are not like a brand new ones, but they're used by the children in the previous programs, but they are well maintained, sanitized, and sun-dried after every program. Okay? And there's no additional charge or anything like that. Once the children have reached the campus, we gently check with the children if they need a sleep bag. If they require one, they can just get one from the campus. And again, inflatable pillow is an option for the children. If you're very used to having a pillow, then you can just carry one inflatable one. And medicines we discussed, if you have any specific medication that you need to take on a daily basis, please to carry that in a pouch and show it to the instructors or the doctor who's on the campus. And for the children who wear spectacles, the powered ones, please to carry an extra spare of it. Comes in handy.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Sure. Yes.
It's about the medicines I wanted to ask, So what kind of doctor you have there and what kind of medicines and emergency crash cards and all those things you have, or how the things are there?
Okay. So we have a doctor on the campus who is proper MBBS doctor, and we have right from a basic medication like a paracetamol, Dolos, Digenes, and all of this to a nebulizer setup. Okay. So generally, whenever we are with the children, there are dedicated medical kits also that we carry. And these medical kits, again, not like a very small one. They've got like a 40 different medications in terms of ointments, spray bandages, electrolytes, inhalers, a lot of them. Okay. So that we carry with the children whenever they're with us, like during a travel time, activities, playtime on the campus, and all of this. And apart from this, if there is a requirement for us to visit a hospital, then we have an emergency vehicle also on the campus.
Okay, like my daughter takes inhalers regularly and she know how to use, so she can carry with herself, right? In a
Yes,
bag or pack.
correct. Inhaler is an exception where children know how to use it, they can take it, but we do not want them to pass it on to a next kid if they're unwell. Right? So it's
Right.
important that you have to inform the children that they shouldn't pass on the medication to another child.
Okay. And one more question, like any chances of bites, insect bites, snakes bite or something. So anything is there for anaphylaxis or anything allergies? You keep
We
those
have in
things?
this in the same medical kit, we have medications also like cetirizine is one and there is Avil. So these are some of the allergic medications. But apart from that, we also carry some vaccinations. But you cannot give a vaccination for a snake bite, even though we have a vaccine, but we cannot give it until or unless it's a hospitalized kind of an environment. Like you'll have to give it in an ICU kind of a place. You cannot give it at any point of time, right? So we carry a vaccinations with us, but we do not administer. And generally on a camp, we don't see children getting bitten by a snakes or anything because this is, even though we are in the wilderness, generally snakes are something like a very shy kind of an animals. They don't come into places where there are a lot of vibrations. So when we have like 30, 40 kids on a camp doing activities together, we don't see any of them coming into the campus. So there are in the places surrounding areas like when we're going for a trek or somewhere, we might see one or two, but again, not to worry about it. Some of our instructors, they are also experts in handling the reptiles. So in case if we see like a non-venomous snake or something, if the children who are interested, we do like a small session talking about snakes and how they behave, trying to make them overcome their fears also. So apart from this, you don't typically see it like a snake bites or anything.
All right. Is it possible to just we can have a later on list of medication just in case? Just wanted to see what's there.
No worries, sir. I can connect with you, or else Ethan can connect with you after this orientation. Can I have the child name, please?
Vrinda Jaiswal.
Okay, got it.
Hello.
Great.
Parents, I just have like only 5 minutes. I'm gonna complete this kit list and then I'll take the
I
call.
would also want the list of medication. This is for Mahit Verma.
What's the name, ma?
Mahit Verma. So please share the list of medication with me also.
See, I'll be able to share the ones that we have it in the kit list. And
Sure.
apart from that, for the camp, there's a lot of other things also. But anyways, we can do that later.
Right.
Okay. So this is what we kind of call it as a rucksack, the image that you see here. And this is what we recommend for the children to carry for the program. And apart from this, we do not recommend you to carry like a duffel, sorry, or trolleys or a suitcase or anything like this because they're not the ones that you generally use in the outdoors. Okay. And this is something that you can get like a 55 or 60 to 70 liter kind of a rucksacks. Again, you can find it in the Inme store or any of these outdoor stores. And apart from these bigger rucksack that you carry, you will also have to carry like a small knapsack, which is what you will have it to carry your water bottles, your cap, or your medication. And for the kids who are flying into the programs, you can keep your like your phones or your uh, tickets and other details in that backpack. And apart from this, you don't require anything else. One big bag for your luggage and one small bag that you require for emergency things. And cash, as I said, there's no necessary for children starting from Bangalore, but for the children who are traveling from other cities and parents, I would also recommend you to book the meals for the kids in the flights. And in case if they want to have a meal or something at the airport, you can carry or you can send them some cash with them. And apart from this, there's like a small mart store that we open on the last day. If they want to buy anything, they can use the same cash. And we ideally want children to deposit this cash also with us when they reach the campus. And if they want to keep it for themselves, we don't have any objection, but it's their responsibility to take care of it. Okay, so all these things that you see here, no mobile phones, no Kindles, smartwatches, AirTags, none of them are allowed on the campus. And ideally, we do not want girls or anybody also to carry any expensive jewelry. So please drop all of them at home. And the only exception for a gadget can be a camera. It cannot be a phone without a SIM card. And again, we have instructors who take multiple sets of pictures for the children and share it with the parents. And in case if you still wanted to carry a camera for memories, you can go ahead. There are charging stations in the dining area. And again, it's your responsibility to manage it. And this is something that we talked about, which is that Ziploc cover with tickets and all the other details. And for children who are taking the escort details, we will connect with you 2 days before and then share all the details about who's coming and where and all these details too. I'm done with the orientation. This is again the merge store one where you can just go through it, whatever you require, you can just buy it, we can deliver it to you. But the only exception is like we need at least minimum 7 days to deliver it to your place.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please go.
Yeah, by filling the form, I didn't mention about the medication he's taking, but now he has started medication for every night. He has to take some medication. So how should I inform? Because I have filled the form already.
No worries.
Like,
No worries. Ethan, can you just drop in your mobile number in the chat, please?
I have Ethan's number with me. I
You
can
can,
share.
no worries. You can send it to Ethan and we will enter it into our systems.
All right. All right. Thank you so
And
much.
yeah,
I have
if
a
you have,
question too.
yes,
I'm Ivana's mom. Ivana doesn't take any medication as such, but lately in the past 2, 3 months, we've noticed that she's getting a nosebleed just from one nostril. It is nothing to worry about, but doctor says the problem is that it can keep reoccurring if the weather changes or if she's sniffling too hard or blowing too hard. She basically needs to carry nasoclear, which is just nasal to kind of lubricate the lining. I'm going to give it to her. If it needs to be handed over, let me know. If she can keep it with her, let me know. Whatever is required will be taken care of. Just that I need to send that along with her.
sure. So once she reaches the camp, she just need to inform that to the instructor. And has this information been already mentioned in the form?
Not really. Now that I've attended the orientation, because generally she's somebody who doesn't need to take medication, but I just thought maybe if you're at a higher altitude or if she's doing something where she's, putting too much pressure and if it starts bleeding, maybe she can just use it. It's nothing. It's basically saline water.
I understood. I get
Yeah,
that. But it's just that if you can just drop a message to Ethan about this, we'll
I
have
will
the
do that.
information and then we can keep a track.
I will. I will do that. I have one more question.
Yes.
So you know what? When we fill the form, we did it very abruptly, and we realized that there's two sets of activities that there are. Honestly, I don't remember. One was rope course and something else. Not understanding what each one offers, we just ticked one, thinking maybe this is what Ivana will be capable of doing. Is there a chance if she goes there and realizes that this is not the activities? I don't know if there's common activities for everybody, or if you've chosen a particular activity and if you've chosen B, then you are, divided separately. So if I can get more clarity on what each set has, that way we can choose what she can do. Because we do these things with family. She's never been alone. But yeah, like, we had just gone to Camp Max and there was few things which was a little challenging for her.
Understood. So I get what you're saying. So currently for any
Subbu, I
kind,
would also like to second this question. I would like you to elaborate on the ropes course, which we also abruptly just signed up a pass for. So if you could elaborate on both things and if any of the activities are going to be together, like I would like him to be exposed to rock climbing, even though I signed him up for ropes course.
understood. So in
Thank you.
the reason for us to have two different kind of sets, okay, so we don't want them to do ropes course and a rock climbing together because it's a similar kind of a briefing or a similar kind of an equipment and things that they would be doing, right? So for them to have a lot of fun and be excited for that 7 days, it will be very monotonous for them after 3 or 4 days because they're using the same things, right? And it also doesn't give the opportunity for children to step out of the camp and then explore the surroundings. So that's why we have designed it in that kind of a combination where it's one is like a rock climbing and a backpacking, and the second one is a ropes course and an outdoor survival, where again it's a mix of one is a kind of an activity that you do close to the camp and one is something that you explore the surroundings. Okay. So that's the reason for us to create this combinations. And again, each of these activities also would have like a specific number of seats. Okay. And the reason for that again is that we need to have a specific instructor to do these activities. Like there are activities like for a rock climbing, they need to be a rock climbing experts. And for a ropes course, they need to be a ropes course experts. And for a trekking, similarly like that. Okay. So the reason why we need to have it in terms of all this information before itself, so that we can allocate and have the right kind of a resource for that activity, right? And again, in case if there is one kid probably who just needs to shift to another batch because it is either in terms of friends or anything, then if there is an availability of that particular seats in that activity, we can still manage it. But uh, this is not like an open kind of a suggestion for all the kids to do it on the campus. If there is a possibility, we do it, or else we may not.
So that's what I'm asking. If you could give us what activities you're doing in both sets, that way we can choose, because I would be able to tell, some children are scared of heights, some children are probably not able to do mountain climbing or rock climbing. So then maybe I could change that and make her have fun, right? Because what's the point if she's demotivated on day one and realizes I'm not going to be able to do anything here?
Correct. So again, that's not the whole point for us. We want children to be confident rather than the demotivating part of it. I completely get what you're saying. And these activities are also designed according to that particular age group. Okay. So when it comes to a rock climbing, as I said, there are like a 3 days that they do in terms of an activity, where the first day they understand about the basics of the rock climbing. And the second day they conquer a rock that is around 30 or 40 feet in height, which is where they will start using the harnesses, ropes, and everything, right? But if you ask me, generally, will it be difficult for a kid? For any of the children who are coming into the program, right? So it might be that the first time that they're doing it, or probably even if they have done it before also, they don't do this on a daily basis, right? They will go through a little bit of hardship, but at the same time, these are designed for that 11-year-old, 10-year-old children, or a 13-year-old children. The same activity of rock climbing, we do it for a 9-year-old and the 17 also, but we do it age appropriately. Okay. And the second one that you've asked about is a ropes course as an activity. So as I said, there are multiple sets of elements in the ropes course, where the first day it's called as low ropes course, where there are like a 4 to 5 different kind of an elements. And these are generally like a 3 or 5 feet above the ground, where these are something that understand the balance and spotting techniques and working together as a team on the first day. And from the second day, they would do elements that are a little higher in terms of height, which is around 20 or 25 feet. And the third day would be a little bit more challenging, where it's called as target jump, where they jump out of a branch that is around 40 feet or so. Okay. So these are like a kind of a gradual challenge that we introduce the children to. So in case if you still want to change an activity, I'll just check if we have an availability on these two activities, and then you can connect with Ethan and then we can sort it out. But ideally, we want this to happen before the camp itself.
Okay. So again, honestly, I don't know what she's going to be able to do. I'll fill in whatever is required, but I'm hoping you guys have done this and you will do whatever's best for all the children.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, parents, in case if you have any questions, there's an option to raise the hands in the reaction. You can just do that and we can go one by one.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Sure, sir. Go ahead.
How's the food? Like, it's not spicy too much, right? I hope.
Yes, again, we are working with the kids. We understand that it's our 28th year of running these camps for them, right? So all of these would be catered in terms of taste for the children and their likability. So it's a mix of North Indian and South Indian food, and there is also days that we have pastas and French fries and things like that. So they're well taken care.
Uh,
And advisable for them to at least now start doing some regular exercise or walks or jogs. That will be advisable, I think, right?
Correct. As I mentioned in the orientation, do it for a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes every day so that it kind of builds a little bit of strength for them.
We
Great.
have taken a 20-degree sleeping bag from Decathlon. Will that be okay?
No worries. So in case you can just inform the child, 20 degrees is something that is, you can use it during the summers. But in case if it rains or something, they might feel a little cold. So nothing to worry on that part. She can use her 20 degrees one. In case if she is feeling a little cold, she can ask for an extra sleeping bag where she can just put it over her existing one.
Okay, okay, thank you.
The distance from Mysore to Coorg would be 8 hours, the bus journey.
No. So the distance from Mysore to Coorg is around 110 or something like that, right? But once the children land in Mysore, they kind of land around 1 o'clock or so, but they need to have a lunch. And after that, we'll have like a probably another loo break or something, and then shifting the children from these bigger buses to the smaller buses at the very end moment, right? At the last section. So all of this would kind of add to a good 3.5, 4 hours. Generally, it's a 3 hour drive from Mysore to the Coorg.
Okay.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
Instead of track pants, can they wear like leggings also? Will that be okay, or is track pants compulsory?
So track pants, because these are slightly thicker material, no? So in case if there is any pokey things when they're going for a backpacking, like a thorn or anything, right? So leggings, it's pretty much on the skin, right? But if that is something that they're comfortable with, there's no objection from our end. She can get a couple of them and also send at least one track pant, just in case if she has a change of mind and then wants to.
Right. And is shorts compulsory?
So mornings it gets a little warm, right? So once they're back from the activity time, that's when children can have a bath and then be in the shorts, and because they do the rest of the activities on the campus itself.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
One more question. Actually, it's the first time my daughter is doing this kind of a camp, and she's usually not very adventurous. She's a bit scared of things. So, I mean, how do you handle that? Like, if she just gets into that mode that I'm scared and
Understood. I mean, it kind of happens with most of us, man. Even not just the children. Like if we have to go as an adults for a trek and then to a place like Coorg and spending the night in the wilderness, we will also have our apprehensions, right?
right.
But the good thing is, children by default, when they're growing up, they kind of break these fears more often than adults. Okay. And first, in case it could be at multiple things, like more often, what we do is we kind of see this happening on a rock climbing as an activity or a target jump, where these are slightly higher in terms of height. So in case if they're scared and they don't want to do it, we'll try to understand what is it something that they're worried about. Is it that they think the equipment doesn't hold them, or is it that they're scared of heights, or it could be different other reasons, right? So we try to understand that first, and then give our instructors also have been working with children for a long time. So we kind of uh, encourage them to try it out, because when the friends are doing, they also want to do, and they also understand that it's not every day that they do it, right? Once in a kind of an opportunity, and then they would want to. But in case if they're still little hesitant, then instead of doing the like a 30 feet rock, we'll tell the kids, okay, let's just try it. You wear the equipment and then see how you're feeling. And then they'll take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to process that. And then after that, we will ask them to try it out for 5 feet. And then if they're feeling comfortable at 5, we will do it at 10, and then so on and so forth, right? But at the end of the day, if they don't want to do it at all, like, no, then we don't put pressure on them. So we're absolutely fine. If they want to skip that one particular activity, it's fine. They can do the rest of them. But at least we wanted them to give it a try and then see how things goes.
Right. And suitcases are definitely a no, right? You want the backpacks, the big those duffels only, right?
Yes. Yes, because it's not the right kind of a place for them to drag. One, it gets damaged, and the second is also that they take a lot of space in the tents or in the dormitories.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh, One
Hi.
more thing. Sorry. Sorry. I'm just going to say I don't have a question. If you could please share Ethan's number, whoever we can get in touch with, because I'm getting all the updates from these different numbers, but I don't have anyone saved with a particular name.
Okay, so the orientation message that you have received now, that's Ethan's
Yes.
number.
Oh,
And I'll also ask him to drop a number in the chat. He would have already done it, but Ethan, can you just send it again?
sure. Thank you so
One thing,
Subbu,
Subbu, I
one,
just wanted to ask, are they allowed to carry their musical instrument if they want to carry it?
Like
Like a guitar?
they can, ma'am, but we have it in the campus, so they don't have
You have
to.
it in the cab.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
so
All right.
so Subbu, one query.
Hi.
Do you allow any of the days when kids can call up their parents, or parents can get in touch with kids in any of these days?
okay. So as long as there is no emergency, so either it's a medical or from your end, there won't be a direct phone call between the parent and the kids for that 7 days of duration. Okay. But
Okay,
if there is anything that you need to know, you can give us a call, or if there is something that we need to know, we will give you a call.
sure. Thank you.
Sure.
Subbu, I had one question actually. So my son is for the ropes and outdoor survival
Activities.
course.
Okay.
Okay. So you had mentioned that one day they will be camping at a shelter,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So with that, with respect to that backpack or anything, would that be provided by Inme, or we need to account for that
No,
one
but
night?
so what happens is whatever the rucksack that children carry from home, so that would be having their own luggage and that stays in the campus itself. So whenever they're
Okay.
going for a night out, INME will provide them a different rucksacks and
Okay.
where they just need to get only like probably one pair of clothes and their personal toiletries or a sleeping bag. That's all.
Okay. So like for packing wise, is one duffel bag which is already clarified and one a day pack which they need to do
Correct.
while they're doing their day activity. Understood.
That's all.
Thank you.
And how big do we need the day bag to be? Like, what all will it need to accommodate?
So all the things in the kit list one that needs to go into that big backpack. Okay. So ideally, that's what I was mentioning about the capacity of the bag. There are
No,
different
I
capacities.
mean the small backpack.
Oh, smaller one, like a 10 liter or a 20 liter one, like where it's just something that they put a water bottle cap or a snack in it, like that. Not like
Right.
the bigger bags that they carry for a school, like in case if they're going for a sports where they just carry a small backpack, that's the one.
Right, thank you.
Sure.
The kids will sleep, girls and boys separately, or they'll be mixed group.
Of course, there'll be separate.
And there will be assistance if the girls get on periods, right?
Of course, yes. So the female instructors, once these dormitory rooms are allocated, we will have our female instructors going to the girls' rooms and then explaining about all of this. And we have our sanitary pads and medications that is required, which is again, it's the part of that medical kit that we were talking about. And in the camp also, we have got a doctor and everything. So it's just that only thing is the children need to come up and inform an instructor. So once
Okay.
they have informed an instructor, rest everything can be taken care for them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
I don't know if you've already answered this, but how many kids in the dorm together?
There are different capacities, ma'am. So there are
Okay.
5 children rooms, 3 or 10 also. Based on the final numbers of boys and girls, we allocate the tents,
All
dormitories.
right. Okay. Thank you.
Hi again. I want to ask, if some, God forbid, something happens and the kid cannot continue the camp, so in that case, how the arrangement of the coming back and all?
Okay, so generally there is not a lot of situation that we see. So probably one in a season is what we might see. Okay, so in case if they fell sick and then they, even though something that we can manage, and if it is getting a little worse, then we will inform the parents and then we'll either you can come and pick the children up from the campus or we can arrange a vehicle back to your place. But the return part of it comes with an added cost.
Okay. Okay.
In case if there are no more questions, you can log off from the orientation. As I said, we will send you this information about the departure like 2 days before the date, which is on 23rd. We will send out a message in that WhatsApp channel. So please make sure that you are following that channel and enable your notifications. And thank you all for attending the orientation.
Thank you so much.
Most-
Thank you, Subbu.
Thanks.